In this video, we're going to take a look at activity 125, which is going to be number 11. We're going to be making some edits to a square column. Instead of the holes that run through the column, we're going to be editing to make just scoops that kind of cut out and utilizing semicircular profiles to make that happen. So one thing before we get going is I want to draw your attention down here to the model history tree. So you're going to notice that every change we've been making, we created a sketch and then we did an extrusion. We created a sketch, we did an extrusion. So, and each one of those profiles, we've gone through and do that. So what we can do here is you can hit the play button and see how this is being built. Go back in time and be able to see that. You can also right click, you can rename these things if you wanted to. So like here we could call this holes, and then that way you'd be able to, when you hover over it, you know what you're kind of dealing with. These are the holes, and here this would be, you know, the whole sketch. Okay, so those are the types of things, that little bit of some options that you kind of have. One thing we're going to do is to start off with doing those scoops, we're going to edit some of this. So we're not going to start all the way over or hit undo, but we're going to right click and I'm going to say delete to get rid of the extrusion. And there's the sketch. I'm going to right click and delete the sketch as well. So we're going to keep everything else, but we're going to start a new sketch on that square column. One thing I'm going to show you is utilizing the line tool. And I'm going to use something known as construction line. So the construction line, I'm going to draw from right here all the way down just the height of the column. And the construction line, I'm going to uncheck construction option, is it allows us to provide some symmetry. Now the only thing is this construction line, even though it snaps, it doesn't stay constrained. So I'm going to kind of pull this out. And here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose midpoint, and I'm going to click the end of my line. And I'm going to click the horizontal line that's representing the bottom of that. And you'll notice now it's going to turn black, much like your other sketch geometry. And now if I try to click and drag it, it's not going to be able to be moved. So that's kind of how construction geometry works. So that'll kind of help out in that case. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm also going to utilize an arc sketch tool, and I'm going to do the center point arc. And along the, I'm going to start down here along the bottom, I can actually snap to the construction line, and I can go ahead and draw in the arc. So I'm going to right click and say OK. I'm going to kind of bring this in just a little closer. And a few little things that I want to do before we get going too far are going to be taking a look at some different things that we can try out. So I'm going to try the move copy option. And our move copy option, I'm able to actually select an arc, and down here at the bottom I want to create a copy. And the cool part about this is that I can actually go through, I'm going to select the center of the arc, and since I created a copy, I can drag the arrow, and I'm going to put this to be 0.5 away from that center point. And I'm going to go ahead and say OK. And then I will need to apply a dimension later, but those are some things that you can do. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Control Z. Let's see if we can go through and place our dimension first. Let's go ahead and get our first one placed where we want it, and 0.125 for the radius on our semicircle. Now let's try that move copy option. So usually it works pretty well once we go through and we get some sketch geometry in there. Okay, one option selected, I click, and as I go to do that, the only issue is it does not like some of these dimensions that I have placed. So that's going to be one of the different options that we have. So maybe I go through, remove the, let me see if I can keep the, there we go. So it does not like the arc command, but here we can keep our position. Create a copy, and from the center, drag my arrow 0.5, and then I'm going to run that command again by pressing the M key. Click this one, and let me try that one more time. There we go. Create a copy, select the center, and this one's going to be 0.5 as well. So cool thing about this is now what I can also do is I can use the equal geometric constraint, click the first arc to the second, and then click the second arc to the third. This will make them all equal to each other, and when I go to dimension and make this one 0.125, they will all be 0.125 as well. So as far as sketch dimensions though, let's go ahead and let's place, so from here to here, this will go through and be 0.5, so we still need to place these, and from here to here is going to be 0.5 as well. Okay, now the only issue is as we do that, you'll see here, as I still see blue arcs. So here's the thing that kind of sometimes happen, is anytime I tell students you see blue lines, click and drag and see how they're moving. So here I can go through and click horizontal, vertical, choose the center point of this arc, and choose the center of the bottom arc. Same thing from here to here, and that'll go through and work out. Now you'll see this one here kind of shifted on us, so let me go ahead and choose the end of this arc to the center point, choose this to this point, and that'll go through and kind of lock those into place. And it looks like I may have a little bit of a one here as well, and that will go through and kind of lock them in. So we're looking for all points, and it looks like maybe I had one point that's not quite connected, and that was causing the issue from the beginning. Alright, so those are just some of the tools that you can use. In order to use the revolve, we do need to go through and set a line in between. So I'm going to go down the line and just add a line to connect these 2 points, and on each one of those semicircles, and now we're ready to finish the sketch. And from here, I'm going to end up doing a revolve, and I'm going to choose each one of the profiles. Since they're all the same, I can kind of increase my efficiency by selecting them all. And then the axis, I'm going to hit select, and I can actually choose the construction axis. Now, one thing that we can do is, rather than doing a full 360 degree cut, is let's go ahead and do 180. Now 180 is going to add material. Let's do a negative 180. And now here we go. Now we're cutting right into the material just like how we're wanting. I can say OK. And now there's our semicircular scoops cut out. You can see those in there. And that's courtesy of the revolve tool. You'll see down here in your history tree, your sketch, your revolve icon, it shows just like up here. And it'll say revolve 1 because that's the first revolve that shows up in this particular model, and that's what we're kind of seeing. But those are the kinds of things that will help you as you go through future modeling exercises and how to show this to your students.